Ladies and gentlemen, it's the 29th of December on the Christmas sales, and I'm going to be going through both Steam and other websites to let you know what the deals are like. There's some actually pretty good ones today, which makes up for the fairly lackluster days of previous sales. And of course, I'm going to be starting with ye old gamer's favourite, Steam. First up is the Elder Scrolls series. We've got all of them on sale, including Skyrim at 50% off or 17.37. Dawnguard once again 50% off or 6.94. Half-Fire for 172. Oblivion 75% off for 3.74. And finally Morrowind 75% off again or 3.24. Yeah. I personally would not buy Skyrim from Amazon. Instead, I would suggest you mosey on over to Amazon if you're in the UK, and I'm assuming it would be cheaper in the US as well. It is available on Amazon for 16, which is, well, about £1.50 cheaper. However, if you cannot be asked to wait, you can also get it on Green Man Gaming. If you apply the code to the game, that's 30% off. You can get the game for £16.41. That's 40 pence more expensive, but it's a download. You can get it right there and then. So yeah, whether you want to wait is up to you. It could be worth it, or it could not be worth it to you. It's also worth of note, anyway, that you can also apply the same code to Dawnguard, but there's no point because Dawnguard is actually considerably cheaper on Steam. By the way, the titles on Green Man, and of course Amazon, the CDs, keys would work fine on Steam. So that's personally what I would do. The game doesn't really require any more introduction. I think everyone knows about Skyrim by now. In my opinion, Dawnguard is probably the best piece of DLC currently available for the game, at least on the PC version. We PC gamers are, of course, still waiting for the Dragonborn DLC, and God knows when that's going to be available. We do have, of course, the high resolution texture pack, however, that somewhat makes up for things. Anyway, as I said, I would ignore the Steam offer. It's pretty good, but you can just get it cheaper, is basically what it comes down to. The Grand Theft Auto Complete Edition, that's number 4, is also available 75% off for 6.24. I believe I actually picked this up somewhat cheaper in a previous sale, but I do mean just a couple of bucks here and there. It's not like, it's going to make the bank cry with the difference. Regardless, as I said, 75% off or £6.24. It's a pretty darn a good deal. That's 3 games in the pack for the GTA 4. Some people have issues against GTA 4. They've said didn't live up to their expectations and so on. The PC version does require a fairly beastly machine. I'll warn you that now. If you don't have a quad core, you're probably going to be having a bad time. The game also supports some really good mods available, and I'd actually recommend you check them out, especially for the graphics. They really do improve the game quite substantially. Though you may want to do a bit of checking, because apparently, at least when I last looked at it, the mods are a bit finicky of which versions they actually work with. Anyway, this is going to be quite a lot of gameplay for your money, and all of the GTA 4s are actually pretty good. There's 3 of them, as I said, in the pack, and it's pretty darn good. You also got Vice City and San Andreas available. Of course, all of those games are pretty damn excellent, and you've also got the original GTA 4 for $4.99, as well as a few other bits and bobs. I'd probably say just to get the entire pack, to be honest with you. You've also got GTA 3 available as well, should you so desire. What else have we got in this rather excellent day of fun? Payday the Heist. You can actually pick up a 4-pack of this. That's obviously 4 games, £11.24. You can also buy the soundtrack, or you can also buy the game by itself for £3.74. There's no demo of this one available. Naughty, naughty. The game is basically you playing as the robber trying to break into banks and so on. It's really focused upon multiplayer, is really what it comes down to, and that's one of the reasons I haven't actually played it. I don't really like random internet games for the most part, and no one I knew who owns a PC was really interested in this game, and therefore I was forever alone at the thought of playing it, and therefore I didn't get it. However, from what I've heard, it's going to be one of those titles where you're either going to really like it or you're not going to like it. It's usually not a middle ground on this one. It does look kind of cool though. Graphics aren't awful. I mean, they're not exactly amazing or anything, but I'd probably say if you can find someone to play it with to get it. If not, I'd probably say to avoid it. It does look kind of cool though, so you might want to take a risk on internet-based games. Of course, you can play it solo, but anyway. Let's see, what else have we got on today's fun list? Galactic Civilizations, you've got the entire franchise available here. I can honestly tell you that I haven't played any of these games. They are space kind of strategy type of games, and I can honestly say that I haven't played either of them. You've got both 1 and 2 available. As I said, I haven't played them personally, so yeah, I'd recommend you check out some reviews on something of this. They do score fairly highly, and they do look kind of cool, but there's so many of these space kind of games available right now. Personally, since I haven't played these, I'd probably opt for something else. Probably go with Rebellion, Sins of a Solar Empire, just because it looks really cool, and I really enjoyed that game. But as I said, I'm not saying the other one's bad, I just haven't personally played it. Next one is Witcher 2. Oh, by the way, guys, just to let you know, I do have a Dawn Guard, some DLC footage available in case you're curious of it. Next one is probably one of the gems of today, and that is The Witcher 2. The Witcher 2 is actually a pretty cool game. You've got Witcher 1 available for £1.75, and the second version of the game, Witcher 2, Assassin of Kings, for £4.99. In my opinion, both of the games of this series are very notable indeed. And there's a couple of reasons for this. One, basically, you'll notice that both are either the Director's Cut or the Enhanced Edition, or in the case of Witcher 1, the Enhanced Director's Cut. And there's a reason for this. Basically, an absolute shit ton of bugs. The second one is the game is, at least before this, very unforgiving. The Witcher 2 in particular, there was this part at the beginning of Witcher 2, and I kid you not, I died many times on it. And it's because I hadn't played Witcher 1 in an absolute god knows amount of time, and I put the difficulty up quite high on Witcher 2, and my god did I just die over and over and over and over and over again. Anyway, subsequently there's been some balancing changes on it, which made the combat a little bit more intuitive. I will be warning you right now, this is a very merciless game and very adult content. However, it's a very cool game. Some people have issues with it, mostly because of the bugs. And while the patches have pretty much ironed out all of them, I have been told there is 1 or 2 game-breaking bugs that can randomly occur, although the chances are quite small. Smoonie Kipper actually told me that he was playing The Witcher 2 and that he came across a bug and he couldn't quite finish the game, and then there was a patch that was subsequently released after a couple of months and he was able to actually complete it. While that might make you think ew and, burn it with fire, the games, however, are really good games, and I mean insanely good. They actually have very good combat, the graphics are very pretty, and for the most part, they have a certain not hold your hand, we're going to be difficult, and that's the end of it, and you're going to enjoy the game anyway. And I know that doesn't really make sense, but trust me when I say the combat, especially as you get better, the game becomes automatically a lot better. This game is very based upon your own skill. The storyline, however, is very, very tight. The issue I would have with this game is both games are really required to play, and I would highly recommend you do not just do the normal thing of jumping into Assassin's of Kings. I would recommend you do indeed play both of them. Play number 1 and then number 2. Of course, now with Christmas coming over, you might have the difficulty of actually finding the darn time to play all these games, because I certainly am. But regardless, that's a different issue in QQ lore and all. Very good games, would recommend for the price. Next one, Bioshock. Bioshock, Bioshock, Bioshock. Bioshock 1 is a fantastic experience. If you've not played it, do the following. Click add to cart, buy the game, install it, then come back in a few days and thank me. Seriously, it's a very good game. Even though it's old, it still looks amazing. And the world they've created, in other words, Rapture, is incredible. I shit you not here. It feels like a living, breathing city for the most part. And it does have a few flaws here and there, mostly to do with the way you upgrade your powers, in my personal opinion. But it does feel very cool. The game does have a somewhat moral choice system, although it's not quite stupid. There is a demo of it, by the way, available, although I think anyone's modern system will be able to run this fine, and personally, I think it runs absolutely great. It's a good PC port as well. It does look very nice. It's very pretty indeed, at least in my opinion. It has a certain look to the whole world. Bioshock 2, however, this is where it becomes a bit more tricky. While both are available on a franchise pack, and it's very interesting, you only save a few pennies, by the way, on the franchise pack, Bioshock 2 is, well, a bit different. Now, the price of the individual games is exactly the same as the bundle, by the way, and you've got a few days, obviously, for this pack being up, so you could theoretically play number 1, figure out if you like it, then buy number 2 if you do. It's worth noting that number 2, in my opinion, is a little bit different in terms of the atmosphere. It's not handled by exactly the same people who created the first one, and it shows. How can I put this? It's just not as good, I'll just be honest. It places you in the role of the Big Daddy, for the two of you who do not know. That's the big, massive lumbering guy with the drill arm who lumbers around, yeah. And, I think one of the issues I have is the Big Daddy in the first one is seen as like this almost unstoppable killing machine, and sweet Jesus, if not only was the murdering of the little sisters morally against, one of the reasons you didn't want to do it, but also the thought of fighting the Big Daddy. He was really a tough son of a bitch, and the amount of ammo that you would use was quite high. On this one, it's not like that. To put it mildly, you don't feel that much stronger. In fact, you feel exactly the same as the other one. There is some pretty cool underwater sections, however, we can go outside on Bioshock 2. Both games feature a fairly odd continuing system, where you die, you basically come back to a life pod that you've recently re-enabled. It's pretty much very similar to, let's say, a checkpoint system, but it works very well. In my opinion, Bioshock 1 is the slightly better game. That's not to say Bioshock 2 is a terrible game, however. It's just not quite up there. You know how it is. What else have we got? Okay. We've got the Sonic franchise. This is a bit of an odd one, actually, and I have a slight issue with this, coming to think of it. What is the issue? Well, remember how I just said in Bioshock that the games are exactly the same price? Okay, that's cool. Well, I don't know if their maths are a little bit off, but you get Sonic Adventure 2, this is with the bundle, by the way, Sonic Adventure 2, Sonic Adventure 2 Battle, Sonic Generations, Sonic the Hedgehog 2 Episode 1, and Sonic the Hedgehog 4 Episode 1, and Sonic the Hedgehog 4 Episode 2. And you get all of those for $21.99. However, if you were to buy the games individually, you actually save 4 pence. You actually get it for $21.95. So once again, you save 4 pennies. Not that 4 pennies makes a difference, but still, it's the principle of the matter. You're supposed to be buying the bundle for saving money, not to pay like 4 pennies extra. But anyway, that's a bit of a pet peeve. In my opinion, don't get the bundle because Sonic Adventure 2 now is terrible. And I'm probably going to get some flack for that, but you know what, I'm entitled to my opinion. I don't like the game. It just, back in the Dreamcast days, it was acceptable. Now it's really not. The port wasn't that good, in my opinion. And I just personally would say to avoid it unless you have really fond memories of the title. Sonic Generations, however, is very good. I like both the 2D and the 3D, and that's very impressive for me to say that I like the 3D in a Sonic game. That's unusual. I've basically had a massive aversion to 3D in Sonic It's pretty much like my aversion to being dipped in acid. Haven't really enjoyed it in the past. It's been a very bad experience. However, the 3D in Sonic Generations was handled really well, and it's actually very cool to go back to previous stages and see them in 3D glory. The 2D sections also work really well. Sonic the Hedgehog 4 Episode 1 and 2 are both very good games in my opinion. I really liked Sonic Episode 2. I played that a lot more than Episode 1, but I'd recommend both. So yeah, check them out in my personal opinion. Another one, Portal 1 and 2, I've mentioned these a dozen times over, so I'm not going to go into them again. Personally, you probably own Portal 1 if you owned the orange box back in the day. Portal 2 is a little bit different, but it's a very cool game. I personally recommend both of them. Check out some gameplay, there's tons of it available. None on RGT, by the way. Oh, incidentally, with Sonic, both Episode 2 and Generations are both on this channel. So you can look at some gameplay if you're undecided, as well as adventure. Although I think I made my displeasure of that one fairly clear already. On Green Man Gaming, you can pick up Spec Ops: The Line for £4.99, that's pounds. You can also apply a 30% off code with that to get it for even cheaper, should you so wish. Although I think everyone would like to get the game cheaper. I don't think anyone would like to pay more for a title. You can also get Saints Row, the complete package, for £7.49. Once again, you could apply the money off to that as well, should you wish. And once again, I think you would. XCOM Enemy Unknown, I actually realised it was actually really cheap. You could actually get the damn thing for 15 and then apply the 30% off. However, I only just realised that literally before the offer ended. So I'm a bit late for that one. Sorry, guys. Gamefly, or the artists formerly known as Direct to Drive, are doing a reasonable deal on Mass Effect 3 for $7.49. It's not a terrible price, to be honest with you. It has been cheaper in the past. I have seen a couple of bucks here and there cheaper, but it's a reasonably good price, and I'd recommend you pick it up for that. Gamersgate are doing Lara Croft and The Guardian of Light for a pretty darn good price as well. That's £2.48. In my opinion, it's a very good game. It's very different from most Lara Croft games, set in a completely different third-person perspective. It's more isometric perspective. It actually works really well with controller and keyboard, and it's also worth noting that this actually supports local co-op. This is actually a really good game if you happen to have friends over. Or single player, it works quite well. One of you can control Lara, the other one can control the Guardian. I've forgotten his name, so yeah, it doesn't matter about his name anyway. There's also a pretty cool collection on Dead Space, as well as Dragon Age, as well on Gamersgate, so you might want to check that out. Anyway, that's about all that I'm going to go through at the moment. Oh, actually, there is one last thing before I forget. Humble Bundle are providing a relatively large amount of games for ridiculously cheap. If you want to go over to Humble Bundle, there's about 4 days left on this one. Okay, so you can go ahead and you can cough up some money, and you can unlock Snapshot Closure, Binding of Isaac plus DLC, Indie Game The Movie, Shank 2 EFF, and Child's Play Charity. Or you can beat the average, which is currently $6.58, and you can get Dungeon Defenders plus all the DLC, Legends of Grimrock, The Basement Collection, Offspring Fling, and Cave Story Plus, as well as, you know, all the other bits and pieces. As far as I'm aware, all of the games that do activate on Steam, I've been able to activate all of my Shank 2 and everything else fine. It's quite happy. So yeah, once again, Humble Bundle works quite well, and I'd recommend you check it out. And of course, you can give some money to charity on that one. I believe it's Child's Play. So anyway, I think that's just about everything. God, that was quite a long video. Anyway, hopefully you've enjoyed the video. Buy all your bundles, buy all your deals before the prices go up. That's what I say. At the end of this, I'm going to have so many games. I've got like about 30 I need to complete. I shit you not. Right, take care of yourselves and bye for now.